So, hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is in your time zone. I'm excited today to connect with you and just really let you know that you can be an activation to others. Okay? So, whatever you're creating or thinking about or doing, I just want to encourage you to be aware that this could be of service to people who need exactly what it is that you do or you're being. And maybe, maybe your math skills are being creative, right? Or maybe your math skills are being calm. Now, that is something our world needs a lot right now. As we look out on the world where there is turmoil, especially in some parts of the world, those of us who are able can really tap into inner peace in a big way and emanate peace and kind of a loving, gentle kindness out. And you don't have to know how. It's just a way of being in the world. And for me, peace came, well, when I was in third grade, I remember I remember this so vividly. And everybody was asked, like, what's the job of the president? It was my third grade class. My teacher was Mrs. Long in Berkeley, California, a long time ago. And I wrote on my paper, the president's job is to create peace. Isn't that interesting? I was a really cool third grader, I think. Not that I remember that much else from that year, but I just wanted to kind of encourage you to go the extra mile to be at peace. And I actually took a class on peace one time. It was a meditation class with, his name was Stephen Sedlier, and he still runs the Self Awareness Institute. It was an amazing course. Um, he talked about he does Shakti pot meditation, which is different than what I do. But basically, it's a third eye meditation. It's really powerful, and kind of what I remember. So you can correct me if I'm wrong, if you ever heard this, would be knowing your own inner peace is something you know. It's something no one can take from you. Yes, people can sort of like send weird messages or, pop into your IM if you have them or get on your social. That has a lot of energy. So, of course, someone can kind of like, how do I say it? Be unpeaceful in your space. Yet, what if you didn't react at all? I'll tell you what, if you don't react to something, it's very likely that behavior, especially if it's annoying, is going to stop because the reason they're being annoying is because they want your attention, right? So you can also give attention without them being annoying, or give attention when they're being quiet and peaceful and interactive, or whatever it is that you desire in your relationship with someone. You can reward them for the good stuff. Like, you don't have to just respond to the bad stuff. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. I was blessed with my kids. They didn't do the terrible twos. Like, none of them did that. I weren't supposed to go through that. Nobody. They did teething though. Oh my gosh, I remember teething. Oh, poor babies. So let's just go into that space of knowing your inner peace and knowing that it's possible things are happening around you that are not peaceful. Of course, if you open up the news, they will focus solely on sort of the fatalities. I remember I wrote for a Sacramento newspaper. It was called The Bee. And I was supposed to go on a date. He was really cute, by the way. I remember this. This is back in 1990 something. And the guy shows up to pick me up. And I said something like, hold on, I have a fatal. I'll be right back. He's like, what? And I run in and I have to write a paragraph about someone who got into a fatal car accident. And they didn't do stories unless someone died, right? I'm not kidding. This is like a true story. So I come back out and I'm like, okay, I'm done. And he's like, what? And it was like, how do you explain that to someone who doesn't write for a newspaper? I don't know how you do it because honestly, how icky, gruesome is that? And you can tell, like, that journalist part of me is still sort of in there. It's very interesting. Hopefully, I've evolved a lot since then and I don't have to write about stuff like that. But I just wanted to kind of like talk today a little bit about being at peace and knowing your own inner peace and coming back to it, even when like the world around you is crazy or is motivated by cruelty or is motivated by things that resonate lower than love. Because when you return to that sense of sort of benevolent all-knowingness, oh, I just made that up. I like it. I want to write that down. Benevolent all-knowingness. That feels good, doesn't it? And basically, I just wanted to kind of do a guided, peaceful meditation this morning. For me, it's morning. It could be any time of day. So just sit kind of with your back straight and your spine straight and your head directly over your shoulders. And bring some blue earth energy up through the balls of your feet. And ask for celestial energy from heaven. I sometimes put my hands over my head like I'm holding a basketball, and I invite loving energy, and I usually see it as gold. Some people see it as white, and I invite it from heaven down, surrounding my entire being with kind of a blanket of healing, loving life force. Thank you so much for listening and for hanging out with me and going through these meditations. It's my prayer that this will guide you to knowing yourself even better, guide you to helping others with more love and joy and calm awareness. And just see that gold energy swirling around you, swirling around you. And let's spend a little time in our heart chakra. Spend some time in your heart space. And the heart resonates at a green energy. So we're going to flow green, loving energy through your heart. In the Buddhist tradition, compassion is kind of exemplified by the Kuan Yin. And that's often portrayed as green as well. And we're just going to look at that Kuan Yin, compassionate heart energy. And many with kind hearts can be betrayed by others or vampired by others because they want what you have or you're too generous. So just look into your heart space. See if you can't pull anything out of your heart space that doesn't feel right. And just kind of open your heart up to new green, loving, kind energy. It self-replenishes, you know. And You may not be able to change the past. You may. I would never be one to swear you can't time travel. In fact, I just watched a wonderful series of television on um, called The Way Home, and it was a series of women who time traveled. Fascinating. So just go ahead and look at your heart space and just kind of be in the place of that benevolent kindness for a minute with yourself. If you want to put your hand on your heart, you may. Just hold that frequency of love and green and joyful and kind, warm. Just kind of like wrap yourself in a blanket of that love. A lot happens to kind of shred our auric energy around us. It can be self-loathing things that we do, poor eating. It can be staying in relationship with those who malign or hurt us. Those things that, you know what they are. They shred us. So go ahead and just let go of any requirement to be in any relationship with someone who doesn't honor that heart space within you. Beautiful. And just raise everything up. Raise your energy up. Raise your energy up. Raise your energy up. And just flow love everywhere, all around your being. And come back to the center. Come back to yourself. Come back to peace. And that benevolent knowingness. My happy word for the day. And hey, coming up, so exciting, coming up in March 20th is the International Day of Happiness. Who knew? It's also the first day of the spring solstice. And I'm not sure what I have planned, but I'm going to be doing something exciting around the topic of happiness. It's one of my favorite topics, so something to look forward to in March. And thank you again. Thank you so much for coming and listening and doing what you do.